Thank you for joining us. My name is Lynette. I'm the founder of AT Pros Inc. We work with specialty trade contractors. Today we're going to go over what a profit and loss is and why you need one. So grab your pen and paper, grab a drink, and let's get started. Okay, so let's jump right into it. What is a profit and loss statement? This is for specialty trade contractors who I work with. The one report every contractor needs to read every month, but most never look at it. And that is true. I have clients that put it in a drawer, and I'm like, no, 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 get that form out. We're going to review it. Um, so, what is a profit and loss statement? You could think of it kind of like a scorecard for your business. It shows every dollar that came in and every dollar that came out with regards to income and expenses. So what it shows your total revenue from all jobs that was collected. It shows your cost of materials, your direct labor. That equals your gross profit. So basically your materials and your labor against your revenue is your gross profit. That's the job level profit, but then you also have all of your overhead and operating expenses. That's going to be your insurance, your rent, your employee benefits, your advertising, your auto expenses or truck expenses, equipment, supplies, etc., etc. That is going to now equal your net profit. That's the amount that actually is the amount you keep, or as I could actually say what you're going to be taxed on. So how often do you need this? Every month at a minimum. I do have a few clients that only file quarterly, or they only need them quarterly, and some even only do them yearly. Those are usually my very small clients that are maybe transitioning out, or maybe it's just a weekend gig, you could say. But that's usually for clients that are maybe making under $50,000. If you're making over $50,000, I do not recommend going any less than quarterly because of estimated tax payments, and it's a lot easier to calculate those estimates if we have some information. So we're going to assume that the company is over 100,000, possibly 250,000, up to $4 or $5 million. You will need this at least monthly. You will want to compare that month to month. You will also want to compare that year over year. These are things that I go over with my clients. It's very important to be able to compare it to the prior years so that you could see where you're growing or where your expenses are that may be um, higher than what your growth rate is. If your growth rate is 10%, but your insurance is growing by 15, it may be time to start looking for a new insurance company. Um, you always want to make sure you have a financial statement that's clean and accurate for any big financial decisions. That would be business loans or any kind of loans that you might need in the future. And then, of course, like I said, every quarter before estimated taxes, we don't want to under or overpay. And the only way we could do that is if we know where you're at tax wise, so we could plan all during the year. And we always review those and adjust those estimates as needed. So, what does it tell you? It, it will tell you if your jobs are actually profitable. It's going to tell you if your overhead is eating into your margins. Are you growing or just getting busier? Where the money is leaking out. That's good to look at for the month to month and year over year, is to see if you're losing money based on expenses that we can adjust. And then also, it's really important about whether your pricing is working. That's where job costing comes in. It's very important, but if you're still charging the same rates as you were 10 years ago, but your services that you are now offering are much better, then you may not be charging enough per hour. And it's very hard because we want to be competitive, but we also have to make sure that you are covering your expenses. Sometimes those jobs where you're being competitive end up being your most expensive jobs or you possibly lose money on. So positioning your business to where you could price out your items correctly, still be competitive. It's a nice balancing act, and making sure that you still make money. That is the goal of having a business. So why it matters. This is a scenario that I wrote up. This is a client that does not have a financial statement. So he checks his bank balance. This is Jason. He has a plumbing company. He's been in business for 8 years. He always feels behind, but he doesn't know why. So this is how he operates. He checks the bank balance to gauge how he's doing. He only looks at the numbers when the accountant calls. He has no idea what his overhead totals are every month. He thinks a busy month means a good month. He makes pricing decisions based on gut feelings. He pays himself whatever the account allows. So at the end of the month, he has $1,000 in the bank account. That's what he takes. He has no real plan. He also is not including his own labor or his own expenses into his job costing. So he just takes whatever's left, and unfortunately, it may not be enough to even pay his own personal bills. So what happens? A profitable months mask the slow months or slow collection. So you can have outstanding accounts receivable and not understand because you have another month that maybe had a good month and you don't even realize that you have, 4 accounts that are 90 days past due. You discover losses at tax time, but it's too late to fix. You have 60, 90 day, 120 day, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months of collections, and now you can't collect on those because it's just been too long. The people have moved, they don't return your calls. You have to be really diligent about collecting those receivables as soon as the money goes out, or even collecting it before the job is even finalized. You can't explain where your money went. So if you have no financial statement, if I say, well, how much did you pay in this? Or how much did you pay in that? You'll have no idea. You'll just be like, it was all expenses. Unfortunately, we can't help you set goals for yourself if you don't know what those numbers are. You undercharge for years without realizing it. So that's where I was kind of going into that you're charging the same amount for the last 10 years, but you don't realize that your services have grown, your technology has grown, your employees have grown, your payroll expenses, your rent, everything has gone up except you. So you are the cheapest. You are busy because everybody's referring you out, but it's because you are the cheapest place in town or in the county. So you're getting a lot of referrals because you're inexpensive, but you're also drowning because you're not making the profit that you should. Also, the client owes IRS because he had no cash set aside. He didn't know what he was going to be paying, so he never planned for it. So let's say that now Jason planned. So this is the same contractor. He's been in business for 8 years, but he has a new habit now. He's hired a financial team to help him. So he has his tax accountant, his bookkeeping is done, and he has someone on his side to help him grow his business. So what changed? He reviews his profit and loss statement with this accountant every month or quarter. He tracks his revenue, his gross profit, and his net separately. He knows his overhead number by heart. That can change, so it's something that has to be calculated often. So if your overhead per hour is, $100 or $50 or $20, you need to know that. You'll know what it is per year, by month, or by hour. It's very important, especially when you're doing your job, your invoicing. He caught a $900 a month subscription he forgot about. So when we have a business, we sometimes will get into a program and maybe it'll work for a while and then we decide we don't want to use it anymore. And then we forget to turn it off and it renews. So we have to make sure that those subscriptions get canceled, renewals are canceled. But by looking at his financial statements, he's able to cancel that and possibly get a refund for any fees. He raised his service call rates. So the profit and loss is now showing that gap. And that gap was basically what he charged 10 years ago is not the same as today. He went through his expenses. He figured it out based on what he needs to make in order to be profitable. So he was able to raise his service call rates and he actually made a little bit of money at the end. So he sets aside his tax money so he knows every quarter how much his taxes are going to be based on the calculations and the amount of money that he set aside. And that's something that we go over with our clients to make sure that they have that third pot of money for tax purposes. So the results, he knows if he's profitable every month, not at tax time. He's cut that waste. He saved $10,000 per year on that $900 monthly subscription that renewed. He raised his prices with data to back it up. He never received a surprise tax bill again in April. He knows that he's paying in enough in his quarterly taxes. He feels in control of his business for the first time in 8 years. He knows where he's at. He knows what areas he wants to grow. He's made smarter decisions. He's saving money, and he actually maybe even had enough money to take a vacation for himself. So that's the goal. Or even better, pay yourself first, get yourself a retirement plan. If you can still take that vacation, great, but make sure that you have your own benefits in place too. So how we can help. So how we help our clients. We prepare the monthly profit and loss statements for our clients so you have clean, accurate financials. We do review calls. We do walkthroughs of these financial statements. Basically the same thing we're doing right now. I do it on a personal level with each client on their current financial statements or situation. We help with job tracking. That's the job costing I was talking about. It's really easy to kind of get a little behind, not realize how much you've ran over budget on materials, and if you don't know the mistakes you're making, it's really hard to fix the problem. We do an overhead audit. So those are the ones that we are going to focus on, looking at the insurance policies, making sure that there's not anything that those subscriptions that you don't want to renew. And we check that every month and make sure that you don't have those things eating away at your profit every month. So we hope to save like $500 to $1,200 a year or more, sometimes by finding those errors. I'm sorry, $12,000 a year. The pricing alignment. So we compare your rates to your real cost and adjust those before the losses track up. That has to do with the job costing also. The virtual CFO services, that's the monthly strategy. So we go over that. I go over that personally with my clients, and we turn your plan into a growth plan. So we find out what jobs are profitable, and we try to figure out a plan to get more of those jobs. So yes, we're in a tax accounting office, but I'm also a CFO, so I will help you build the business by making smarter decisions with your financial statements. So we turn that profit and loss, we look at those prior years, we do comparisons with other companies in the same industry as you, and we try and figure out how we can make your business match those high income and high worth companies. So if you don't read your profit and loss, you're flying your business blindly. So we are offering today, we have a 30-minute free 30-minute call with me to see how we can help. You can click the link in the description. Also, in the description here, we also have a free handout covering this topic. It's a little bit more detailed and a little bit, that you're free to have that. And if you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out. We work with clients nationwide. We are based out of Maine and California, and we have our employees, we have bookkeeping, I'm the tax advisor and the CFO, but we do have people that also help us. Visit our website, set up a call, or drop a comment in the post below, or you can email us at info@atprosinc.com, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions for you. And then, of course, make sure you subscribe, and notify. We do have more videos coming out, and hopefully they will get a little bit better each time I do one. And be sure to put in the comments if you have a topic that you'd love for me to go through. I will definitely be sure to add it to my list and give you a shout out. And then if you do have any other contractors that are in the business, that are business owners that are struggling or anything like that, please share this post or this video. They may get some benefit out of it. So thank you so much for joining us, and I appreciate you, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you.